Do y'all think that I would go on the internet and lie about being invited to the fucking White House? When 80% of the artists that y'all following right now feel like I feel about the vaccine and are too afraid to speak on it. And guess what they're doing right now? If they assassinate me and assassinate my character and make me look crazy or stupid, guess what? No one else will ever ask questions again.
So we all know that Nicki Minaj has been suspended from Twitter. Now, due to her dangerous, very dangerous comments about COVID. It's a very complicated situation because, yes, a lot of what she said was dangerous, but at the same time, it wasn't. She was asking questions. She was confused. I wouldn't say she was confused, but she was asking questions. She was figuring things out, and she expressed her thought process in figuring things out. Now, I just want a big disclaimer, and I want to make it very clear that I do in no way do I support the anti-vaxxer movement. I am 100% double vaccinated, Pfizer, and I'm going to get my next vaccine when it's available. My booster shot, I'm going to get it when it's available, and I will remain vaccinated regularly. This is my choice. And I believe that we all have freedom of choice. Now, there are a few things that we need to point out here about what is going on with Nicki Minaj. And on the surface, people think the issue is about COVID. And that's not the issue. 100% believe that everybody should get vaccinated. But I also do not believe in the propaganda that is sort of shaming people that have chosen not to get vaccinated. So I don't believe in that, but I do believe that people should get vaccinated. And I do believe that if you choose not to get vaccinated and then you're hospitalized, well, that's on you, right? That is on you. Yes, you still deserve the proper care. Yes, you deserve all the amenities that everybody else gets as an American citizen. But if you're not vaccinated and you get COVID, that is on you. So I'm going to talk about a few things here because there's so many red flags with what happened with Nicki Minaj. And that is the fact that her Twitter was suspended. So first of all, they terminated Donald Trump's account, and we were very happy about that. That was a good thing, at least for me and a lot of people, that he was terminated. Now it's Nicki Minaj. So it's a little bit like that quote, which is, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So this video, I'm going to break it down into four things. We're first going to talk about Nicki Minaj's actual comments. Very dangerous comments, right? But at the same time, not so dangerous either. We're going to talk about her comments. Then we're going to talk about freedom of speech and versus misinformation and where the blurry line is. And then we're going to talk about social media and the illusion of freedom, or the illusion of democratizing freedom, content. So let's begin. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. This video is brought to you by Brand Video Pros Members Lab, an online course that helps brands and influencers scale their influence and sales. So let's begin. So I'm going to start off by reading out Nicki Minaj's tweets. Right. Let's look at context, because we have to understand the full scope of what happened before we can even begin to dissect this information. So what happens now? So Nicki Minaj tweets on September 13, Somebody tweeted at her, and then she goes, "Love you, babe. I was prepping for the VMAs. Then I shot a video, and guess who got COVID?" So apparently she got COVID. "Do you know what it is not to be able to kiss or hold your tiny baby for over a week? A baby who is used to his mama? Get vaccinated." Drake had told me he got COVID with the vaccine, though. So she's promoting people to get vaccinated. This is the first tweet. She then tweets again. I guess somebody said, Nicki Minaj, vaccine doesn't prevent getting COVID. It prevents you from, she says, "Babe, that's not true. I had the exact same symptoms as people with the damn vaccine." So she was not vaccinated. She got COVID. And there are a lot of people that get COVID and don't want to get vaccinated because they have the antibodies. So it's understandable. Well, she chose not to get vaccinated and put herself in a position to catch the virus in the first place. But it's understandable why now she doesn't want to get the vaccine, especially if she has the antibodies. But let's continue. "They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met." Understandable. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings that grip your head and face, not the loose one, right? Fair enough. She's promoting people. So this is where it gets dangerous. And this is where she raised a lot of eyebrows. And I'm not going to reread this because, I don't want my video to get taken down or demonetized or whatever. But basically she said that her cousin, who has a friend who got the vaccine, his testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is the issue that it seems that people are having a problem with. So the issue here now is a few things. I first saw this post and I was not comfortable with the idea of somebody with such a big, massive platform letting people know, announcing that she has not been vaccinated. And more to that, I was very uncomfortable with the idea of her basically spreading this information to her fan base. Just reading that first quote, it made me very uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, when you read it, at the end of the day, she has every right. It is her body, her choice. She has every right. And she also, as an American citizen, living in America, has every right to speak freely. Freedom of speech. Freedom of body. Choice what you want to do with your body. It is her body. It's her life. And she does not feel comfortable getting the vaccine until she feels that she's done research. Some people would argue that, enough research has been out for how many months now? Research has been out for all of this year. Over 9 months, we've had the research out. But and she has enough money to have been able to gather the best doctors in the world to give her the information that she needs, right? That's one thing. That's one aspect of it. But at the end of the day, if she didn't feel comfortable getting the vaccine, especially because she was pregnant and she just had a baby, and there were these rumors, which are not proven, but there are these rumors that state, there are these rumors that claim that if you have been pregnant, things happen. So it's understandable why people might feel, look, she's pregnant, she had a child, she doesn't want to get vaccinated. She's already had the child now, she doesn't feel comfortable. That is her choice. But here's where the issue arises. MSNBC host Joy Ann Reid drags her for spreading this message to her 22 million followers. And not just them, we see it on CNN dragging her. Even the health minister in Trinidad spoke out about her claim and said there is no evidence. They have not found this person. This is all false information. And that time was wasted. And at the end of the day, it still goes back to what I said, freedom of speech. Everybody has the right to their opinion. I have the right to feel uncomfortable about her posting it to 22 million people. The Trinidad people have every right to, because it can get very dangerous when you have a big, massive following like her. So these people at the top, the health minister, CNN, and MSNBC, they felt the need to speak out because it's dangerous when someone with such a massive following speaks to a people, right? Speaks to her following and perpetuates misinformation about COVID. It's dangerous. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is Twitter. Twitter banning Nicki Minaj. That is the issue. Now, Twitter has every right as a private company to ban whoever it wants to ban. It has every right to do that. And let's remember, they banned Donald Trump. Even Facebook, Instagram banned Donald Trump. And in an interview with the Breakfast Club, Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, talked about after the post-Donald Trump situation, they built a committee, a separate body, who would then regulate who and when they ban people. They didn't want to do it in-house. They did it out. They have a separate body, appointed individuals who get to decide whether a situation like that, whether somebody gets banned or not. So it makes sense. They've made a system. They put in place a system that decides who gets banned and who doesn't get banned. Now, why did Nicki Minaj get banned? It's because she has 22 million followers on Twitter. And I think her Twitter and her social media I think her Twitter and her Instagram combined is about 100 million people. Massive following. And I think there was a big fear about her spreading misinformation and just triggering people that would believe in what she's saying. Because even if she didn't instruct anybody not to get vaccinated. She said that she was going to get vaccinated. But at the end of the day, her not being vaccinated today inspires other people not to be vaccinated. So it's in everybody's best interest if she doesn't say anything about it. But at the same time, there's freedom of speech. Now, today, my issue with Twitter in this specific situation is that, and I look at what happened with Donald Trump, and by the way, by no means am I a Donald Trump supporter. I was very happy about them banning Donald Trump, and I wish they did it 4 years prior, but they didn't. I wish they did it in 2015 when he first started making noise, but they didn't. And I was very happy that they made a media blackout of Donald Trump at the end of his campaign because he incited violence. And it seems like the principles here are, if you use social media to kill people or to incite violence against other people, they're going to shut you down. So this seems to be like kind of the policy. So Donald Trump inciting violence, is inciting a riot, encouraging people, to go to the Capitol and terrorize and compromise an election. That's the reason to block someone from Twitter. Nicki Minaj inspiring, like we have to look at COVID, like she's inspiring people not to get vaccinated, which means that these people that don't get vaccinated because they don't believe in the vaccine system, well, they are the reason why the COVID cases are higher than ever before. And they're the reason why people that are vaccinated are getting COVID, right? I understand that very well. But here's my issue with Twitter. My issue is that social media has given us an illusion of democratized content, of a place without gatekeepers. And that's how they were able to rapidly build their following. A place of freedom to create, and a place where we're free. But at the end of the day, that is an illusion, and it's not accurate. And that's what the question is. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of them, they give this illusion of democratized content. You've moved away from, and also like just I would say Web 2.0. I'll characterize it as Web 2.0, the era of communication, right? And moving into Web 3.0, which is NFTs and DeFi. So Web 2.0 pretty much established community, as well as created DeFi, democratized finance, through crypto, and decon, democratized content through social media. So that's Web 2.0. That's that era. And so we have this illusion of democratized finance and democratized content that is not regulated by anybody. But as we move into this Web 3.0 space, it's become very clear that democratized finance is an illusion and democratized content is also an illusion, because we have essentially, all we've done is switched hands. We had an old set of gatekeepers, and we've taken the power from them and put it into a set of new gatekeepers. And who are the gatekeepers of Web 3.0 as of late? Social media entrepreneurs and social media companies. They are the gatekeepers. I won't put all of it on the entrepreneur. I'll put it on the company, but these companies are the gatekeepers. And then also crypto regulators, because when you look at crypto, when you look at DeFi, there's this illusion that like nobody controls it, but that's not true. Somebody built it. Somebody controls it. So it's this illusion of democratized finance, this illusion of democratized content. But what is real freedom? It doesn't really exist. And it's become very clear with Nicki Minaj being, silenced by Twitter. Now in America, there's freedom of speech. This is, it's a constitutional right. And I want to say that it's not the worst thing in the world for governments to regulate companies and to regulate finance. And the reason I say that is because, yes, Twitter, like what we're doing with like democratized finance, shifting the power from governments to these individuals that we don't know who they are. I think the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And the fact that government officials are elected and we see them, we know them, we know where they live, right? We don't know anything about these crypto regulators. And when it comes to decon, democratized content, the power before was with media entrepreneurs or media companies, but still regulated by the government. But now the government is figuring out, it's kind of regulating social media, but they're figuring it because it's all still new and they're not really regulating it yet. Ultimately, I do believe that they will regulate it, but I just want people to understand that we have the illusion of freedom through social media, but not real freedom. And why I say the scary part of the Nicki Minaj situation and her being silenced is that when you have these gatekeepers and they decide that they can silence you, well, what is the standard for tomorrow? Today's standards are very understandable. We understand it and we support it. The standards are, if you incite a riot, we're going to shut you down. If you're a terrorist organization, we're going to shut you down. If you spread misinformation that ultimately kills hundreds of millions of people or millions and millions of people, we're going to shut you down. These are standards that we can all support and approve. So I think what my point is, I'm not painting social media as the bad guys. I'm not positioning them as the bad guys. What I'm saying is that it is our duty as consumers of social media to hold these social media companies accountable, hold them accountable, and make sure that whatever policies that they put in place to shut down and silence people, it is supported by strong systems that do not silence voices that should be heard. And that's a very tough one, right? I do not think that Nicki Minaj's tweet was necessary. I thought it was very dangerous. And her being silenced, I don't know about her being suspended. Maybe they could have deleted her tweet. I was okay. I would have been okay if they deleted her tweet. That's like on Instagram when you post like something, they can delete your post. They could have deleted her tweet. You know, I didn't think they need to shut down her account. Now, them shutting her down her account kind of shows this sort of like ruthless power that we can do anything we want. We don't even give you a warning, we'll shut you down. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And we just need to hold them accountable. But do I support the takedown of Donald Trump? Absolutely. Do I believe Nicki Minaj should not have posted that? Absolutely. But even though I understand where she was coming from, and it was an innocent post, and what she said was very fair, I think there's a time and place for everything, and I don't think it's a necessary thing to promote when people are dying. Because we're not hearing about it so much anymore, we just are bored of hearing people dying. So people have moved on with their lives, but people are dying, and it's dire. And in fact, Black people are 2 times as likely to die from COVID, which is a lot of her following. So she's only perpetuating the idea of not getting vaccinated and potentially killing more Black people. She's not killing more Black people, but potentially those words can encourage the death of Black people. So we just have to be very careful. And I think the takeaway here is to hold social media accountable. Know that it is not a free space. It's not free, but they need to be held accountable. Now, do I believe that there should be a platform that's not regulated and it should be free? I don't know. Not if it's going to encourage terrorism, not if it's going to encourage violence and killings. I don't think there should be any sort of free social media that encourages those things. But as long as we are tight with these social media platforms and we make sure those are the only circumstances, not only those, but things that are legally, universally bad, child pornography, killing people, these laws, as long as those are the reasons that they block off people from communicating on their platform, fine. But we have to make sure they maintain that standard and it doesn't shift or sway to, let's say, what the Chinese government is doing. Right? These are American companies, American ways of thinking. This is a democracy in America. Freedom of speech. Freedom. We don't want, when I say China, I'm talking about, there's no freedom of speech. You can't speak out against the president or government officials. You can't speak out about so many things. They'll come and they'll take you. As long as we don't move into that direction and we as consumers of social media hold these platforms accountable, well, I have no problem with them taking down Nicki Minaj and taking down the people that need to be targeted. But that's just what I gotta say. We have to hold them accountable and hold them to a standard set by the culture that consumes its content. So those are my thoughts on the whole Nicki Minaj situation. Let me know your thoughts. Do you support what Nicki Minaj said? Do you support her account being suspended? What are your thoughts? Please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenem, and see you next time. A peace.